Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the countdown to kick-off, the build-up show. Manchester United face Brighton at Old Trafford as Ruben Amorim's side are in the hunt for their first back-to-back wins in the Premier League this season. That's just a crazy statement in itself that Manchester United haven't won back-to-back games since the end of last season.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, starting off with another stat that just blows your head off. But we are here in Manchester for this game. Mordzs and Ricky, welcome to the show. Welcome everyone, and get your comments in, get your super chat saying how you're feeling about this game. Lineup changes. I think this is the first time in quite a while where I can't really predict what team Ruben Amorim is going to go for in certain areas.
Yeah.
Mordzs, Ricky, you nervous? You excited? How are you feeling?
I don't know. Before the game, I was saying to you, like, I feel like it's going to be a boring game. I don't know. Like, United, they don't give me confidence to beat 2 games in a row, like you said. Back-to-back games, are we going to win? The last game wasn't, I mean, let's be honest, we weren't the greatest last game anyway.
We were terrible.
We were terrible last game. Hopefully, I mean, something's got to click. At some point, it has to click. Maybe I'm just saying that just for the sake of saying it, but at some point something has to click in the team.
I'm nervous. I think when Brighton are on form, and then they're on form quite often, and they're a really good side. So it's going to be a proper tough game. If we play in the first half like we played against Southampton, I don't think they'll pass up chances like Southampton did.
No.
Yes, I agree with that. We've got to defend better. We've got to keep possession better. We've got to create more in our final third. Absolutely, Ruben Amorim. He said in his pre-match press conference that it's going to be a roller coaster of a season. He's not blind to it. He understands the situation. I mean, we've got loads to talk about. His squad looks like it's going to get even thinner if we don't bring anyone in this window, with a lot of outgoings. Looking like they might happen. I know nothing's happened yet, but everything might come at once. We'll talk about that. Ricky's combined Brighton and United 11. Stay tuned for that one, everyone. We're going to bring that in because wild, and get yours in as well. And got loads of other things to talk about in terms of who should be starting this game and who should be on the bench, because there is certain players that have come on and had some good performances. Collier, Xerxes, Dallow's back in today. Does he start? Let us know down in the comments. But let's kick things off first and foremost, because the lineup is going to come out. I want to ask you about that first. Is there any changes you would make to that starting 11 today for Manchester United?
From the Southampton game?
Yes.
You always know there would be for me, but I'm not sure. You know what? I've not seen if there's any injuries. Is everybody fit that played the other night?
Pretty sure.
Is Maguire still fit? I know he came on as a sub.
Yeah.
I'd probably start Maguire if Maguire's fit to start for sure.
Yeah, I say Maguire definitely. I mean, I don't see why he's been probably our best defender.
Maguire has to come in.
He has to come in. He's probably been our best defender in a while. But also, I don't know. I mean, the main conversation I'm sure is Højlund and Xerxes, and we spoke about it on the forum. I think they both, either way, none of them have kind of confirmed like I have to be the main striker. So it could go either way with both of them. But I still feel like there's a little bit of fatigue in that team, and we saw it against Southampton. They looked tired, and we're playing a lot of games, playing twice a week now for the next 4 weeks. There's gonna have to be some kind of rotation somewhere in the team. Maybe in the midfield, we saw Ugarte and Mainly both get taken off, so you never know. You might change something in there. So I don't know. I feel like there might be one other change, other than the striker. There might be one other change in that team. See,
I would definitely start Xerxes today, but I have a feeling Ruben Amorim might stick with Højlund just to give him a chance. I would start Xerxes, but that's just a feeling I have. In terms of, I think we can all agree, the back three, Maguire has to come in. Yeah. I would go with Martinez and De Ligt. I think you would as well. Yeah. Yeah, Ricky, just about. Yeah. I mean, if it was up to him completely, maybe you'd change it. But
well, Johnny Evans isn't fit, is he? So I do like Johnny Evans in a big way, but he's not. I won't be surprised if he never plays for us again. So it's a bit irrelevant, really.
And then in terms of the wing backs, and this is what I want to ask people, because Dallow's back. Does Dallow start?
For sure.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
See, that's interesting because I would start Ahmad at wing back today. I would start Ahmad as right wing back.
And then,
so if you do that, then Dalot and Mazraoui are fighting for the left wing back spot, which I think he would choose Dalot.
Do you think?
I do, yeah.
I think Dalot will come back in the team as well.
Well, get in the comments down below. Who would you have? Would you have Ahmad at wing back? Because I just think he's so good there. I mean, he's good in the 10 as well. But he's so good there. Why change that up after he's just got a hat-trick from that position?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, you're right. And I feel like we said that for the Southampton game as well, that you'd probably start Ahmad at wing-back and put Mazraoui on the other side. I mean, he's got a hat-trick from there somehow. I mean, which is crazy to say, but he's got a hat-trick from wing-back, so he's not like he's his performance has gone down a slight bit. It's probably gone up every single time he's played there. He's probably played his best football as a wing back for United, so it does actually make a lot of sense. But I can still imagine Dalot 100% coming back in, partly because of the reason I said before, a bit about fatigue. Dalot missed the last game, so he's going to have a bit more energy to come back into the team, whereas Mazraoui's been playing every game up and down the pitch. It's very tiring, so I can see Dalot 100% come back in the team.
And then in terms of them 10 positions, do you think Garnacho retains his spot there?
No. No, I don't see it.
Because I've seen a couple of people saying they would like to see Mainu start in the 10.
I won't be against that either. It depends who you're going to then play as your 2 6s, doesn't it?
You could play Collier and Ugarte and Bruno and Mainu in the 10s. But then if you're playing Xerxes up front, you're lacking a lot of pace.
Yeah.
You're lacking a lot of pace in them forward positions. But then you do have Ahmad and potentially Dalot who have that licence to overlap.
I have a feeling Garnacho might start again.
I think he will as well.
I'll be amazed if he does.
I have a feeling, because I can't imagine Collier starting. I don't think that. I think that's just like a fantasy. I can't imagine that happening at all. Like a couple of good appearances, I don't think it's going to warrant a start right now. Maybe if he keeps on doing it every single game, maybe eventually. But right now, it's a bit too early, in my opinion, to just start him straight away.
I think he'd sooner go with Dalot and Mazraoui as his 2 wing backs, so that Ahmad can then not necessarily just to release Ahmad into the 10 position, but because Garnacho's not pulling up any trees, it means you can put then Ahmad as a 10, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can't see. And there's 1 or 2 other options as well to do that. Like you've just said, Mainu could play there. I don't think he'll do that. He hasn't done that yet, has he?
No.
But I wouldn't be against that. I'd love to see Collier get a run out next to Ugarte. That'd give us, plenty of energy in midfield, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think we have lacked that energy, and just because of a lot of games being played, and I've spoke about this on shows in the week, I don't think our fitness is as good as it should be, and I think that's something Ruben Amorim's going to have to address in the summer.
Yeah.
Like we've spoken about it. Arsenal played the day before us in a North London derby after playing against us. Okay, yeah, we were down to 10 men, but they were absolutely fine. They're thin on their squad depth. They've got injuries. Manchester United, Ruben Amorim's made it quite clear that we struggle to play 2 games a week for the intensity that he wants. So our fitness levels massively need to improve, but Collier does inject that energy. Is that enough to start him? I mean, let's run a poll on it. Should Collier start for Manchester United today? Because I know he's impressed a lot of people. Does it warrant a start, or are you throwing him in too early? That's a big question. I also agree with you, Mordzs. I think Garnacho will start today. Yeah. Just because I think Ruben Amorim will be thinking we need some sort of pace in them forward positions. If he does start, it all depends if he starts Ahmad at wing back or not. If he starts Ahmad at wing back, I think Garnacho will start. If he goes back to Mazraoui and Dalot, Garnacho will be on the bench. That's how I think it'll play out. I think Mainu in a 10 is very much like a fan theory. Do you know how everyone's like, oh, Martinez should play in midfield? That sort of vibe. I think people saying, oh, Mainu should start in 10, I think it's very much a fan theory rather than something that the manager will do.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see to see what he does pick today, because I don't think anything's necessarily nailed on.
Yeah.
Got a couple of stats to bring in. So each of Manchester United's last 11 league goals versus Brighton have been scored in the second half.
Every one of them?
Every single one of them. Wow. Every single one of our last 11
start.
league goals versus Brighton have been scored in the second half of the game. Whoever is on the bench, Rasmus or Joshua Xerxes, if you're on the bench, you're more likely to get a goal today when you're coming on in the second half.
Either way, I think we're due to score in the first half against them. I would have bet we score in the first half against them today. You can't go on forever and ever, can it?
Yeah, no, that's such a random stat.
One of 2 things will happen. Either we'll score in the first half or we won't score at all.
You also have here that Manchester United have conceded 10 Premier League goals from corners this season, joint top with Wolves. That's something we have to address. And Brighton do have some height in there where they can bully us off set pieces. It's going from defending against the best team in the league at set pieces in Arsenal with 10 men to conceding against a team that hadn't scored a goal off a corner all season in Southampton at Old Trafford. Just sums Manchester United up. So something you've got to get control of. And then you also have here that Manchester United have trailed at half-time Manchester United have trailed at half-time in 6 top-flight fixtures this term, second to only Leicester. So Leicester, the only team that have been behind more at half-time than us against top sides this season.
Don't we have that record that we've never lost when we win at half-time?
Yeah.
So
we've never lost at Old Trafford when we're winning at half-time, but against Brighton, we never score in the first half. So there's a lot of things that could change things up today. A lot of things that can change things up today. But get in the comments, what team should Ruben Amorim pick? I mean, as I was saying on the forum, I wouldn't have been against Anthony starting at wing-back and Ahmad starting in right-sided 10 because I do think they have combined well together. A lot of the time, Ahmad's goals come from when Anthony's on the pitch. I'm not saying it's because of Anthony, I'm just saying it's because you have an attacking threat on that right-hand side. That's just naturally getting forward more. The way he comes inside it's an attacking threat for the defenders to deal with, and it gives Ahmad that space on the outside. However, Anthony, I very much doubt he'll be much involved today because it does look like he's going on loan to Real Betis until the end of the season. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed that. Right. So, I mean, for me, this is what I said. I'm not saying, like, I'm in 100% agreement we need to sell Anthony. Like, we need to. He's not good enough. But we're paying most of his salary until the end of the season. We're not really getting next to nothing in terms of money back for him with this loan. And we have no options at wing-backs. Like, I don't get the point of this deal. The only side I can see is he might play well and it could invite suitors in the summer to come and purchase him. But that's big, isn't it? That's a big if and that's a big risk. I feel that we might as well have kept him as a off-the-bench option.
Yeah, and I think you're right. That point you made, I genuinely think it's only because he's going to get a lot of game time and his price tag might go up. Because right now his price tag is looking looking
spooky, innit?
He's going to have to play a hell of a lot better than he's played for us.
But he'll play it anyway. I think just the fact that he's playing will mean that people will see it.
He might, don't automatically assume he'll be in their starting lineup.
I don't know who they've got. Yeah, I don't watch Real Betis, but I just feel like if you're going to take someone like Anthony on loan from United, you're not just going to bring him on loan for no reason, just to keep on the bench. You're going to want to.
I've seen it happen with other
players. They've been chasing him for over a year, by the way. They wanted him last January as well. They inquired in the summer. They've just never had the money. But Manchester United have clearly just thought, but we will be paying the majority of his wage. We will, because he won't be able to afford to.
I'll tell you what would be fascinating if they played him on the left wing when he gets there.
Ricky will be tuning in.
Yeah. I will be tuning in.
It's just, I just think about it and I think Anthony is going on loan. Rashford's definitely going. He's got to have gone. This is the 10th game that he won't be in the squad for today. He won't be playing for Manchester United. I know he was in the squad for that Newcastle game, but 10th game he won't be playing for Manchester United. He looks like he's goners, and it looks like Dortmund are going to get him actually. That's the word on the street at the moment on loan. So see how that develops. There's big rumours about Alejandro Garnacho going. Napoli's chairman, I think it was, came out and confirmed their interest in him. So there is stuff going on there. I mean, that's 3 wingers that potentially could be out the door. Rashford and Anthony look pretty much nailed on. And then you look at it like you only then have Ahmad as an attacking wide option. United just have to go for somebody.
Yeah.
Because what happens if Dalot or Mazraoui gets injured? Like, you're absolutely screwed. Oh, and Malacia looks like he's going on loan as well.
Right.
So that's another wide player out the door. So it's Manchester United, if all of these players are going out, which they all might not happen, like, it's just at the moment there's big rumours in all of them players leaving. You're going to be struggling for depth, massively struggling for depth.
I can't imagine this is Amorim's plan. I feel like this must be like an Ineos thing, surely. Because I don't think, why would Amorim come in and I get it, it's not his team, but he still wants players to work with. Like, he still wants somebody to have in his team to kind of at least get some kind of results before the end of the season. Surely this is an Ineos thinking, we're trying to turn out the older players, not the older players, but the Anthonys, the Rashford, etc., and then bring in new players, because I don't see why Amorim would want to just get rid of his whole squad and not have any options. Well,
apparently Amorim said behind the scenes, this came out from Laurie Whitwell at The Athletic, so quite a reliable source, that Amorim said that Anthony can go, but you need to bring me a replacement in.
Okay, yeah.
So apparently we tried to go for that Dorgu from Lecce, but they've said no, he's not going in the summer transfer window. Apparently our bid was rejected. So we are looking, he's a left back, by the way, like left wing back type. So we are looking, trying to get somebody in, but it's going to be tough, especially with the situation that we're in. And I think other clubs in this January window, knowing how desperate we are, will definitely try and take the mick a little bit in terms of how much we'd have to pay and the deal that we'd have to do, make it difficult. And I don't think Manchester United can afford to be seen being taken for a ride, being taken for a mug. So Manchester United have got to be careful. Like Ben Jacobs came on the show and said that it is a seller's market, January. It's very hard to buy players. It's going to be tough, but is Ruben Amorim just thinking, get these players out because they're not going to be part of my plans. I'll just firm it until the end of the season. And then in the summer, that's when I can really get down to work, get down to business with the pre-season, because he's obviously going to be backed no matter what happens from now until the end of the season, I think.
Yeah.
Ricky, any thoughts?
No, not really. I don't know. We need somebody, don't we? We've got to get cover. I don't know who we'll get.
Well, I read this and I found this quite interesting because a lot of Manchester United fans have been asking for an overhaul and asking for a clear out for a long time. Yeah. So Rashford, Anthony and Malacia all look like they're definitely leaving on loan this month, with permanent transfers expected to happen at the end of the season.
Rashford, Malacia and who was that?
Anthony. So them three are all going to be out on loan this January. It looks like at this moment in time, and they're all going to get sold in the summer. They're not going to come back to Manchester United unless something drastic happens. Casemiro, Eriksen, Evans and Lindelof, all very likely to leave at the end of the season. We know Casemiro, it's only a matter of time before he goes. Eriksen's going to go on a free. Evans, his contract's up, he's probably going to go. He's injured a lot at this moment in time. He's probably going to end up retiring. Lindelof will be going on a free as well. And then you look at Napoli, very strongly interested in Alejandro Garnacho, and Manchester United point out there they're willing to sell as long as the right fee comes in. And a new striker looking like he's going to come into Manchester United. We've said you can't have a new striker and Højlund and Xerxes, so one of them's probably going to have to depart. You're looking at next season, if all these things go to plan, it's going to be a completely different squad. And that overhaul is going to begin and is going to start. You've just got to make sure you're getting the right replacements for these players. And maybe that's why Ruben Amorim has spoken about it being a roller coaster from now until the end of the season, because he is basically probably he's working with the players that he knows has a future. I.e., Collie is coming on before Casemiro, like we've said in the past. He's going for the players that are probably he's working with the players and playing the players that are going to be here next year. So he's going to work in that way. It's not a write-off, but also at the end of the day, I think his Manchester United managerial career really starts to get judged next season, really.
Yeah, and I think depth-wise, we need a lot, not a lot, but we're going to need a few players coming in. I mean, I can't imagine a lot of the starting players, like for example, you look at the team that could start today, I can't imagine any of them really leaving. Like you said, maybe a Højlund or Xerxes might go if we get a good striker in. But the Brunos, the Amads, Mainus, Ugartes, Mazraouis, De Ligt, I can't see any of those guys leaving. So it's really just about getting players that we can actually just put on the bench. And when we do have these, 2 games a week and we're playing like 8 games, 9 games, 10 games a month, we're going to need players that are going to need to be able to be rotated. So it might not necessarily be starting players right now. It might just be players that need to come in and out.
All those players that you've mentioned there, it's about 8 or 9 players. I won't count one of the strikers. I'm talking about all the players that you think are definitely leaving. You probably named about 8 players. I bet between them all, they don't play 38 games in a season.
But
starting between all 8 of them, Lindelof never plays, Evans never plays. Who else did you mention? Anthony never starts.
Eriksen.
Malacia never starts. Eriksen never starts. Casemiro.
Garnacho does play.
Garnacho, sorry, yeah, there's one. Garnacho gets some games, although that's drifting out, isn't it? How many games he gets?
You do need depth, though, just in case.
You do need depth, but I think you named about 8 players, but I really don't think you need 8 players to replace those 8 players for the amount of game time that they get. I think 3 players could replace those 8 players. You know what I mean?
You've got to think about injuries as well.
I've got to think about injuries. You do need a bit of backup, but for the amount of games that some of them play, for the amount of games that some of them play, surely we can back that up with young players that are coming through.
I actually agree with you, Ricky, because you're going to get, obviously, a lot of these players, the only player I can think you're going to get a fee for is potentially Casemiro if he goes to Saudi, and that was rumoured to be around 20-25 million. And Garnacho, you're going to get a decent fee for, definitely. And you'd think you're going to get a fee for Rashford in the summer as well. Yeah. Because it is going to be pure profit because he's from the academy. It's probably going to be lower because you're going to have to subsidise that 300 grand a week, but you are going to get a fee. The rest of them, you're not really going to see any money from. It's going to be going on a free. You're just going to get the wages off the books. But if you invest that money into 3 really good replacements coming in, bring some youth players in, I think that's the way to go. I honestly do. If you think about it, you're going to need to bring in a left-sided 10. Absolutely. If Anthony, Garnacho and Rashford all go, you're going to have to bring in a left wing-back. And then I actually think a player that we need to replace, and Ricky, you're going to come in and say it's really tough to replace this kind of player, is Christian Eriksen. Because I know he doesn't get much game time, but what he did off the bench against Southampton, he can be used in that, coming on to affect a game kind of role, because we know creatively and technically with the ball at his feet, he's fantastic. Unfortunately, it's not 5 years ago. Unfortunately, he doesn't have, I know you probably disagree, but a lot of Manchester United fans and Ruben Amorim believe he doesn't have the intensity to play 90 minutes and play games consistently for Manchester United. So he is going to go. But I think we've got to replace that player in our team that can come on and change the game with a creative brain, the way that Christian Eriksen can.
Yeah.
If you're going to let him go, you definitely need somebody of that ilk.
Yeah.
A player who can affect the game when he comes on the field. Somebody who can get control of the ball. It wasn't like the other night. I know it was only Southampton. It's all right saying it was only Southampton. They murdered us. They basically murdered us till they come on the pitch, didn't they? Actually, might be a coincidence, but it's true.
Yeah.
They murdered us for about 75 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, when he came on, I was about to say, it wasn't just that one pass over the top, it was him actually getting hold of the ball and keeping it a few seconds and then passing it and getting us up the field and that. It just made a difference in a big way, really.
Yeah, I feel like the only player we have that can do that is Mainoo right now.
Yeah.
There's no other player in the team. Yeah, I mean, definitely no midfielders anyway in the team that can keep the ball that well and keep things ticking. So
I don't think you mentioned Mainoo, but there's been rumours about him leaving, haven't there?
I don't think that.
Chelsea were interested.
There were rumours.
Oh, there was rumours, but I think it's just him trying to get a better contract, to be honest.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I hope so.
What we were told is that Mainoo's team feel like his wage should reflect his importance. He's one of the lowest paid players at Manchester United, and he's pretty much starting every single game. It's not a case of him wanting like some massive deal and trying to be greedy about it. What he wants to stay at Manchester United is his boyhood club. But also at the same time, if you're coming into work every day and you're like the star guy, and then someone who's like basically doing nothing is getting paid like
twice as much as you are.
More than that in some
5, 6,
cases.
7.
You're obviously going to want to, your pay's going to want to reflect that. So I think obviously there would be interest in Kobbie Mainoo if he did say he wanted to leave Manchester United, but we're getting told he absolutely does want to stay. It's just getting that contract that it kind of reflects a fair value for what his value is for the team, which I think is I've already said I think that's understandable.
Yeah, same.
Got some super chats in, and I think there's a lot to talk about, so make sure you get your comments in and let's discuss them. Sarthak says, would love to see Collier and Godwill on the pitch today. I think you mean Godwill Kokonki, the centre-back. He's not played yet for Manchester United, but he's been in and around the squad a lot and on the bench. Ruben Amorim apparently highly rates him.
What position is he?
He's centre-back, but he looks completely developed and ready to go, in terms of physically. And I think, if I'm not wrong, he's 16, 17, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he is.
He's 16 years of age.
Yeah.
And he's on the bench consistently for Manchester United. I know.
Might play like the last game of the season or something like that.
Keel Robinson says, we will panic buy and be back here next year. The one thing I will say is we have got different people in the positions to make these recruitment decisions. Like in the summer, we didn't spend absolutely ridiculous money on just one player. We distributed our funds through multiple different players. You have got Jason Wilcox there now. You have got Omar Barada there now. You got Ineos running the footballing side of things. I said that I think the days are massively gone when we would go and blow like 70 million on a aging Casemiro, 85 million on an Anthony. I think them days are gone now. And it's a good thing for Manchester United. Until we are completely back and ready to compete, I don't think you'll see us spend more than like 60 million on one player.
Yeah.
And then when you have got that fully developed team, okay, you might go and buy a big money, big name player to complete it. Teams have done that. Arsenal did that with Declan Rice. Liverpool did that with Alisson and Van Dijk. But I think Manchester United are way off that now. I think we just need to focus on rebuilding a competitive team. And I don't think we'll be splashing huge amounts of money on individuals. Howd88 says, what's your opinion about the disallowed goal for Arsenal? Many Arsenal fans believe that the ball hit the stomach. Even Specsavers tweeted that people could come and have their eyesight tested. Not too fussed about Arsenal. I thought it was handball. Did you ever hear anyone watch the game yesterday?
I'm desperate for Arsenal to win games.
Yeah.
I'm fussed, yeah. I don't want Liverpool to win it, do I?
Well, neither do I, but what more can we do? We took points off Liverpool for Arsenal, Then they had a little bit of a drop off. Arsenal, you've not been able to capitalise on
it. We're discussing that situation. Maybe they should have maybe it's not their fault they didn't capitalise.
I don't care. They should never.
It's him right there. It's him right there, and it was.
No, it was handball. I think.
I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it being handball at all.
They should never have allowed themselves to concede a 2-goal lead anyway.
Yeah.
At the Emirates. I'm sorry.
It's their own fault.
They just shouldn't have. But anyway, David Aina. I'll tell you what. Aina is a class right back for Forest. He's been carrying my FPL team. He says, how about Ahmad plays in the 10 and Mazraoui in the right wing back when defending, but during attack they switch sides. He did it with Ghana and Dallo in the Europa game, and we know that Maz is good in the half spaces. I don't know.
What was that? Switch sides?
He said, how about Ahmad plays in the 10 and Mazraoui in the right wing back when defending, but during the attack they switch sides, as in Mazraoui comes inside and Ahmad goes outside. I mean...
Sounds like Ten Hag would do.
Yeah, it can work, but... I mean, I seen someone message me the other day saying, do you remember when Eric Ten Hag played Mazraoui in the 10 over Ahmad?
Yeah, I know. He didn't play bad, to be fair, but it just didn't make sense.
Robert McCormack says, we cannot lose Anthony, Rash and Garnacho. Without replacements, no. Mark Dennehy says, how many of the current squad are you 100% sure you would carry on into the future and can actually go on and win a title for United? I mean, that's a show in itself, isn't it?
Win a title? Wow.
Win a title.
Wow.
I don't think I can 100% say that anybody can go on and win a title for Manchester United, but I can say which players I would definitely keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And there's few of them that I'm definitely on. But I think the main ones that a lot of people talk about are Mainu. I think Bruno Ricky wouldn't.
This is how I look at it. Yeah. This is how I look at it. Give it like a maximum amount of time that you think United could win a title, and then which players would you keep for that long?
Ahmad, definitely.
Because if you say, United might not win a title for the next 5 years, do you think Bruno in 5 years will win another title?
I think he'll still be playing at 35.
For United?
I think he's that type of player that looks after himself.
Fair enough. I can't imagine Bruno playing for United.
He can do anything for you, can't he?
No, I'm not saying that.
Superman,
I'm not saying that. I actually think, though, I don't even... Oh, God. People are going to... Do I say this online? Do I not? Do you know what? It is what it is. This is so wild of me to say. I don't think... I think right now we are absolutely miles off winning a title. Like, I agree with that. But I actually think given the right resources and being backed in the right way, Ruben Amorim could turn it around a lot quicker than I thought was possible.
Yeah,
I think he could have us competing if we back him and invest in properly, quickly.
What's quickly?
Quicker than I originally anticipated.
So
given the right manager and getting the right players, it can be turned round. It can be turned around so quickly, it's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know they're actually mathematically they're in their own, but it's highly unlikely that Forest are going to win the league. But Forest are a much smaller club than us. But look what they've done from bottom of the league to Champions League
Top
places.
Four,
he did it with Villa, didn't he? They were in a relegation zone when he took over. The following season, they're in the Champions League. Now we're starting from a better position than any of those two managers started with those clubs, and those clubs are highly unlikely to win the title. No disrespect to them, but we're a bigger club with better resources. You know what I mean? There's no reason why a manager of a club like Manchester United shouldn't be able to turn them into a champ. I'm not saying he will, but shouldn't be able to turn them into a championship challenging team within the space of 18 months. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen.
I think 18
Not saying it will happen. Well, they've done it within 18 months. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can do it in 18 months.
We could, but...
I was always...
I know it's a pipe dream. I'm not saying it will. Don't get me wrong, Mordzs. And I know because we're United fans, we want it to happen so much. And it won't happen. I'm sure it won't. All I'm saying is it is absolutely, definitely possible. Let's forget it's us. Let's pretend Liverpool are in this position. It can happen for them. They're a big enough club with the resources. And it could happen for us.
I understand a lot of the comments are saying, Beth, you're out your mind in terms of the Bruno thing. I just really want to see him lift a Premier League title with United. It probably won't happen, let's be honest, it probably won't. But I just think he deserves to. But That's just my own.
Bruno Fernandes deserves to lift the Premier League title.
I think so, yeah. I think so. I think he's been our best player for numerous years. And if he was in a different side, he'd be a lot more appreciated.
He would. I think he's appreciated.
Opinion.
I think he's appreciated a lot at United.
Yeah, I think he is. But I mean, in terms of
outside of that, other people.
In terms of talking about top Premier League midfielders, I think if he was playing for a different side, he would have a lot more respect. But anyway,
do you think he'd play for a different team? Do you think he'd play like he's playing now, or do you think he'd play like he used to play?
Well, yeah, he's obviously being coached a lot better now, and therefore you're seeing a better Bruno Fernandes. The coach is going to instruct his players.
You must 100%. Be a football genius. The way he was playing for 5 years, and for
not for 5 years, Ricky. He was very good when he came into Manchester United.
I know everybody talks about the stats about his goals and assists, but the stats are out there that say he gives the ball away more than anybody. That's been since day one. Every single season.
Trent is the player over the last 5 years that's given the ball away the most in the Premier League. Is he not a top right back?
He's a top right
exactly.
back. Exactly.
The most creative players give the ball away a lot. Messi used to give the ball away a lot. Messi's one of arguably the best player of all time. KDB's give the ball away a lot as well. If you're a creative player, you're going to take more riskier passes. You're going to give the ball away.
I will absolutely concede in the last couple of seasons he has not been as good as he should been, and he's been underperforming. But he was very good when he first came into Manchester United. He's not been poor for 5 years. That's obviously people have their
poor for 5 years
opinions.
is a crazy statement, considering how good he was in his first 2 years.
Yeah, Anyway, I hope we continue seeing what he's playing like now. He might not lift a Premier League title with Manchester United. It's most likely that he won't. I'd like to see it happen, but I used to think it's going to be like 5+ years before Manchester United could even consider maybe challenging again. I think this could age so badly, but it could also age well. But from what I've seen from Ruben Amorim so far, he looks like he knows what he's doing. He looks like he knows what he's talking about. He's consistently talking about he's winning the Premier League. I don't think he feels like it's as far away as possibly we thought in the past. Right now, there's absolutely zero chance. I get it. We're so far behind. The table doesn't lie. We were 8th last year. It's probably gonna be like a achievement to crack top 10 this year. That's embarrassing. I get that. We're nowhere near at it right now. But with the right players, the right transfer business, and backing this manager, I do think it's capable of turning around quicker within like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even if you look at our results, as in like league places, since post Fergie, considering how bad we've been, the fact that we came second with Jose, came second with Ali, came third with Ten Hag, like it's not impossible for us to get at least a top 4 finish, and then from there you kind of work on it. And depending on how good the other teams are, you never know, you could end up competing for a title at one point. So, yeah,
it can happen. It really can happen, but it probably won't, will it? It probably won't. It doesn't mean it can't, though. There'll be people. If people could clip this up in 2 years' time and say, look at us, we're still 8th. I'm not saying it will happen.
They might say, look at us, we're winning.
I'm just saying it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's not impossible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Ricky, you are a fan of Ruben Amorim, though, so far, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Which is he's a hard man to please.
Yeah. But I was just looking on my phone for an article that I read this morning, and I can't find it now. I'll find it again afterwards. But something that he's supposed to have said during the week about Ugarte and Mainu struggled a bit the other night because
fatigue.
Well, no, in the article that I read, he was talking about people not being back behind the ball enough, really. And Bruno got a mention being the wrong side of the ball in the article that I read. I don't know if you've heard him say this. And this is something that I've been banging on about. I brought it up on the forum the other night, that we were no better against Southampton with Ugarte and Mainu than we were against Newcastle with Eriksen and Casemiro. And the reason was that both of those pairings were playing with not another man next to him. You need an extra man. And he's basically mentioned that in the article that I've read anyway, if it's true.
What he highlighted in his press conference as well was, he said De Ligt was basically too far behind.
Right.
So he should have been pushing up more, and that caused Mainu to have to deal with 2 runners when he should only have to really be dealing with 1. Right. So not only was he saying that Bruno was the wrong side, he was also saying basically that the defensive line wasn't as high up as it should be. Yeah. Therefore, it creates too big of a gap.
So the team's not compact enough.
Yeah.
From both ends, really.
Yeah.
Sounds like Bruno's not far enough back and the defenders are not far enough
forward.
forward.
Therefore, Ugarte and Mainu just getting exposed in the midfield, and like you said, it could be anyone.
He actually said it was there. He actually said it wasn't. wasn't their fault, and they both got subbed relatively early, didn't they?
I think it's fantastic that he's telling the fans that information as well, because we've not really had a manager in a long time that goes into the details of the football on the pitch, really, of what we're seeing. But
it also gives a bit more confidence, like mainly in the guys, for them to at least know that he's telling everybody else that it's not necessarily just your fault, because they got brought off early, and a lot of people probably thought, he's picking on them, that's why he's bringing them off. But now that he said it out loud to everybody else, he lets them know personally that okay, the manager does have a bit more confidence than it seems out on the pitch.
Yeah, 100%. Rob McCom says, I think he got exposed defensively before the goals. I think he's talking about Ahmad there in terms of the wing-back position. Jaden Lehman says, I'm going to my first game today at the stadium, came down from Ipswich and would love to meet you lot. Hope for United win today. Well, enjoy the game. I hope it's a good one. Brighton play good football. I've always said this. I said before the show, I think it'll be an exciting game either way. I mean, how we still got to do our combined 11s, that's going to be interesting. Eric says, question for Ricky. If we sell Bruno, what would you want as the fee? We're not going to sell him, but go on.
50 or 60 million.
Mark Dehaney says, how many of the current... Oh, we've done that one. And we have Rack City saying... Rack City. Beth, Bruno is our Maddison. Nah, Bruno's way better than Maddison. Louis Stokes says, we have been saying 5 years' time for a Premier League trophy for a long old time. Lol. You're right. Trishan Nadu says, no one deserves anything in football. You have to earn it. Good point. Mark Dehaney says, Ricky, who is your ideal player to play as a 10?
Ideal player to play as a 10? Well, Ahmad's doing pretty good at it for now. I'll settle for him.
Ronnie Dodge says, love a Premier League title before moving to the new stadium. Vinny Red One says, like Mainu, but a lot of improvement is needed. Ruben has spotted and hinted at him being overhyped. Don't see much passing range, more suited as a 10, gets overrun in the 8. I think people need to realise he's 19 years of age. And, you know, he's some players haven't even broke through at that age. Collie is 21. Like, Mainu's 19. And he's played in some big games for Manchester United. He's played a lot of minutes.
So
He's played
19, is he? Wow.
He's played as an England international. Like, he's had a lot. He's had a lot in his first, year and a half of football. So there's going to be some really good games, like we saw against Liverpool. And I thought when he came on against Newcastle, he saved us. But there's also going to be some touchy games because he's 19. That's going to happen. I don't think it's one or the other either. Oh my God, he's so overhyped. Or, oh my God, he's absolutely unreal. I think you've got to just... just watch his development.
Even last season, he didn't even start. He didn't play at the start of last season. He was injured for a majority of, not a majority, but quite a bit at the start of the season. So, really and truly, he's only played a year of football, and people are saying that he's not good enough.
I do think there is something to be said about him playing in the 10, though. I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I think he's very good on the ball, and he sees the passes through the lines.
I'd love to see Ugarte and Collier as the 2 6s, and Mainu and Ahmad as the 2 10s. They'd be absolutely class.
Oh, some news coming in, and it's coming in from Germany, that Borussia Dortmund lead the race for Marcus Rashford. If everything goes according to plan, the player could arrive in Dortmund for his medical check as early as Thursday.
Wow.
Interesting, isn't it? Because Erik ten Hag's the shadow coach at the moment there, and there's rumours about Erik ten Hag getting that Dortmund job.
Is it?
If their manager gets sacked.
That'll be crazy. He'll start him every game.
Reunited. Team news is out in around 2 minutes' time, so I'll wait to do the combined 11 until afterwards because I feel like we'll need time to talk about it. But I'm really intrigued to see if he does go with Xerxes up front or if he sticks with Rasmus today.
Yeah, I mean...
I think Rasmus will start. I really do. I think he'll stick with his, with his plan of bringing him on against the tired legs.
Yeah.
So
it worked.
Yeah, it's
a winning
formula.
So
far, 3 games on the bounce, hasn't it? So I think he'll stick with it. Let's see.
Mantej Singh says, we put a lot of pressure on young players, should get some experienced players, wouldn't mind Olmo and loan out the young players so they can develop. I wouldn't mind Olmo either, but we're not going to get him from Barcelona. No. wouldn't mind Yamal either from Barca, you know what I mean?
It's a £200 million player.
Vinny Red One says, if you're good enough, you're old enough, look at Lamal. And, yeah, it's different. There's
best player in the world.
You can't... There's different cases and different individuals. Like Yamal literally is like a once in a blue moon type of player that is arguably the best player in the world right now. Like he's insane at his age. insane. Like everyone's got different stages of development, and Barcelona is a much more well-functioning team than what we are at this current moment in time as well. Different positions as well. There's loads of things that you can go into detail about young players and their development. Manchester United, in terms of their last 5 games in the Premier League, we have a 2-0 loss at Wolves, 2-0 loss at Newcastle. Then we turned it around for a 1-1 draw at Anfield, a 1-1 draw at the Emirates with a penalty win, and then a 3-1 win against Southampton. So unbeaten in 2025. Something to build on for Manchester United, isn't it?
Only 15 days in, or 16 days.
Doesn't matter, still unbeaten in 2025.
No, you're right. Yeah.
It feels like you're clutching at straws a bit. Don't
I know, but you want to see the form table turn around, and that's exactly what we need.
Exactly what we need, yeah.
We've got, the team should be out right now. Let me try and see if I can get it up here for us. Hold on. Oh, here we go. So, do you think Xerxes starts, yes or no?
No.
He does?
No, he doesn't.
He does start for Manchester United. So, the team for Manchester United is... Let me just see. Oh, okay. Martinez is on the bench as well.
Is he really?
Wow.
So, the team is Onana in goal. Your 3 centre-backs are Yoro, De Ligt and Maguire.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's gone with Yoro again.
Right.
After getting absolutely twisted up by Southampton's winger, but fair play to Ruben Amorim for putting his faith in him.
He's got some players for him to play against. Wow, go on.
Ruben Amorim backing his young kid in Yoro, fair play. So you've got De Ligt, Maguire and Yoro, like I've just said, and then your wing backs are Mazraoui and Dalot. Dalot does come back in to the starting 11 for Manchester United. Your 2 midfielders are Ugarte and Kobbie Mainoo. Your 2 10s are Ahmad and Bruno Fernandes, and your striker is Joshua Zirkzee. So then you then have a bench of Bayinde, Martinez, Malacia, Casemiro, Collier, Ericsson, Antony, Garnacho and Højlund. Højlund and Garnacho both dropped to the bench.
Wow.
Thoughts, everyone? You did say you think Garnacho will go back to the bench, Ricky?
And I did expect
Not too
Dalot
keen
to
on him,
come
is he?
back
I
in.
don't think.
He ain't
Overall.
that good. It's not hard to work out.
Well, there's a big debate right now of whether Garnacho should be sold. We won't go over it again. We've spoken about him multiple times. Until there's more kind of news on that, we'll just leave it be. But seems to be, unless like the squad's looking a bit thin, he does seem to be a bench player for Ruben Amorim. But Joshua Zirkzee is getting his chance. I would say well deserved.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely well deserved. What was my point? You know, we said that on the show the other night, and I don't think I've just touched on it now, or did I? I just felt that he might stick with it because Xerxes been doing well coming off the bench. You know what I mean? So I thought he might stick with that format. But he definitely deserves a start because for that very same reason. He's been doing well coming off the bench.
He's gone back to Dalot and Mazraoui as his wing backs. That seems to be his preferred wing back pair, doesn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
Ahmad closer to goal in the 10. He can play anywhere. I would have liked to see him start wing back, but Brighton have got good attacking threats. And the more I'm thinking about it, Matoma is a big threat.
What's their team?
Down that right hand side. Oh yeah, that's their team. Let's see who starts for them, Ricky. Let's see if Danny Welbeck starts. João Pedro, by the way, is a player that I've seen a lot of fans say they'd like to see at Manchester United as a 10 position.
Player.
Very good player. I'm more of a Cunha girl, to be honest. If I was going to pick either one out of the players we've been linked to, I think João Pedro is a good player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the right player we need to go and get at this moment in time, but I know a lot of people do like him. So their starting 11 is, for Bruggen in goal, you've got, it's not in order, but I'm just going to read it out. You've got Dunk, João Pedro, Minter, Welbeck, Baleba, Matoma, Ayari? Van Heck, Estupinian and Veltman. So Adingra's on the bench for them. He's played well so far this season.
Welbeck's fit again. He starts all the time.
Welbeck's starting. We'll get into this because me and Ricky have already had discussions around Welbeck before the show.
He only came back last week after 6 weeks out. That's what you think of him. Straight in.
Do you know what? I'm looking at Brighton starting 11, right? For Bruggen, very good keeper. Dunk, experienced player. João Pedro, good player. Minter, really good player. Welbeck, experienced player, like would probably get into Manchester United side.
Walking it.
Baleba, fantastic this season.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said that, you know, he's going to get a big move pretty soon. Matoma, we know how good he is. You got like SG Pinion, I think at one point was one of the best left backs in the league. Like, they've got good players.
Yeah, they do.
They've got good players. Like, it's mad to say that their team, like Manchester United's team should be a lot better than Brighton's team, but it's not. It's not. Like, their team's better than ours. Like, low-key.
If the right manager came in there and had a few quid to spend, he could soon turn them into a championship challenging team, couldn't he? Yeah. Easily. So.
Well, Brighton have always been this kind of team that just have good players. They develop players very well. I mean, they had McAllister. They had how many £100 million players have they sold? Like Caicedo. You know, even I remember last season when Evan Ferguson was like scoring loads of goals, and everyone was saying he's a £100 million player. And
now he's like fourth choice.
Yeah, now he's dropped down the rankings. That's another player that probably eventually at one point he's going to probably come back up.
United nearly went for him, you know. Nearly.
I got Highland instead.
I know someone who was like quite close to Evan Ferguson's side on that. United really did nearly go for him.
Right.
For how much did we get him for? Or wanted to go for him for?
I don't know the prices and stuff, but I know Manchester United was seriously considering going for him.
He's very young as well.
But Brighton was like, no, it's going to be like ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
But now he's dropped down the pecking order. Maybe it's something you revisit, but again, it's a risk. It's a big risk. You need that experienced player, ideally. Like, people were talking about Evan Ferguson like he was going to be the next Harry Kane.
Yeah, mad.
I mean, just the amount of talent that's come from Brighton that's been sold up the league as well. Like, you see, you know, Bissouma's at Spurs, Caicedo's, it's Chelsea, Cucurella. I mean, there's surely other players as well that have gone. Pardon? McAllister, yeah. I mean, there's players that I'm surprised haven't been swooped up, like Matoma. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I think Baleba could be the next one. João Pedro is one that a lot of people are talking about. Like, they've got so much talent. They've got so much talent there. I think SG Pinion would be a great left-back option for a team out there. I know he's had injury struggles, but I look at a Liverpool, SG Pinion would be fantastic, I think. And they've got very, very good players. Manchester United also nearly went for Bruggen, their keeper. I remember at one point. So, tough team. Tough team, and now I'm thinking about it. I know I said I would have started Ahmad at wing back, but now I'm thinking about Minter and Matoma off them wing spots, and I'm thinking Ruben Amorim's probably thinking, let's, you know, Dalot and Mazraoui, orthodox kind of fullbacks, got a better chance with dealing with them.
Yeah,
gives Ahmad that more attacking freedom.
Matoma gave us a difficult game last season. In fact, Brighton didn't beat us like 3-1 or something last season. I remember Welbeck scoring or something like that.
Welbeck scored, didn't he?
Yeah,
they beat us 4-0 the year before.
Yeah, they did.
Even just put in the chat, I'd take Encesco. I don't know how you say his name, but I know who you mean. He's injured at the moment. He got a really bad injury, didn't he? Yeah. But he is absolutely fantastic. I think he's Paraguayan, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
He's fantastic. Yeah. I remember him playing, and I was gutted for him when he got an injury. He's one as well that's super young and could be up there for a top move in the future. Yeah. Their scouting team is crazy good.
Yeah.
Crazy
Amazing.
good.
Yeah. Amazing.
But also, you look at a team like Brighton and you're allowed to, like, obviously, and it doesn't depend on the manager as well. Graham Potter had it. What was his name? De Zerbi had it, and now the new manager, the young manager's come in, Hersel. He's got it as well. Like, they've got that system in place where no matter who the manager is, they have the same idea and they have that system in place where no matter who comes in, coach otherwise, we are going to keep investing in these sort of players. They are a selling club, but it works for them, and no matter who they sell, they gain top class replacements for cheap and develop them. And obviously it's easier to develop talents at a team like Brighton, no disrespect, because I actually really rate them and I think they're a good Premier League side, but it's easier to develop talents in that environment than it would be to come in and put on a Manchester United show with every single person looking at you. It's different stages of the football pyramid, but what they do for the Premier League and just in general, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love how they're not frightened of bringing in a player who seems to be, you know, well, when they're free agents, when they're getting on a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
James Milner, Lallana, Welbeck.
Yeah.
Milner's injured at the minute. He might well be playing Milner if he was fit. Yeah. But and I think is Lallana at Southampton now, but he had 2 or 3 good seasons at Brighton. Yeah. Signed him for nothing, signed Welbeck for nothing, signed Milner for nothing.
And they all worked.
And they've all played loads of games.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of looking at the combined 11s and I'm low-key kind of want to make changes to mine. Again, I can't.
Even yours?
But I'll get them up now. I sent them over to Matt, so I just need to get onto our chat because I wanted to bring them up.
I didn't give you my prediction, did I?
Oh yeah, you score prediction,
and
Ricky.
I've seen the team now. I'm going 2-1 Brighton.
You're going 2-1 Brighton. Everyone's gone 2-1 Brighton.
Have they?
Yeah. I'm going.
I thought it'd be a one-off. I'll change it then.
No, I've gone 2-1 United.
Oh, okay. What?
If you put it in, can I change it?
You can change it. Yeah.
I'll go to 1-0.
1-0. Brighton have drawn a lot of games this season. They've drawn like 10 games, I think, this season. So.
Don't know. Don't ask me why, but I've gone with 3-1 United. Don't know why.
Just a random guess.
Yeah, I needed to do something different to you, Mordzs. You've gone 2-1 United, haven't you? I mean, you can see the score predictions coming up on the graphics carousel on screen. Get your score predictions in as well. But as soon as you sent me your combined 11, Ricky, I sent it straight to the group chat, and I was like, what? What? But, Ricky, you gave me your combined 11, and I'm just going to read it out for the people. This is Ricky's combined 11 for Brighton and Manchester United. He's gone for Verbruggen in goal. He's gone with a back three of Dunk, Maguire and Van Heck. He's gone with his wing-backs as Dalot on the right and Matoma on the left. He's gone with Ugarte and Baliba in the midfield. He's gone with Ahmad and Adingra as his 10s and Welbeck as his centre-forward.
Cracking team. Cracking team.
I don't think that's a crazy team, in my opinion. I think after the midfield, it makes a bit more sense.
It's just, I can't believe João Pedro isn't in.
I don't know, including the midfield and the attack. So the midfield and attack, in my opinion, because I had Ugarte and Baliba in my midfield as well. And I love Mainoo, but Baliba has to play in this team. If you're talking about this season, Baliba has to play in this team. Ugate's probably been our best midfielder. And then going forward, I mean...
It's a cracking team. I'm just... Dalot over Mazraoui is throwing me.
I'm convinced he would pick Dalot over Mazraoui. I'm convinced he would. I think he loves Dalot. I mean, said that's not his team. I mean, Dalot's playing on the left all the time, and he's better on the right. Our own manager has said that he's better on the right, and he will play on the right at some stage. I believe if somebody like Luke Shaw was fit, for example, I think Dalot would be playing there now, and Mazraoui might be playing as a centre back. Oh, okay. But Mazraoui would get plenty of game time because he's such a versatile player. You know, he'd get games at centre back, he'd get the odd game right wing back, left wing back.
Everyone's saying, this. Just so you know, the graphics put De Ligt on the right hand side. Ricky didn't go with De Ligt, he went with Dunk. He went with Dunk over De Ligt. So Matt's got that one wrong, but I've sent him so many things to do graphics for. I'll allow it. But he did go with Dunk on that right hand side over De Ligt, which was another one I couldn't get my head round. I'd go with De Ligt every day of the week.
Same.
Would you really?
Yeah. I think Dunk's a good centre half, but he wouldn't get him
today.
Pardon?
Watch him today. He's absolutely colossal.
He is, but I prefer to go with De Ligt.
Absolutely colossal.
Yeah, I go for it. I just think De Ligt's a bit more. I don't know. He's a bit more mobile, a bit more versatile. I'd go with De Ligt.
I also, the only other one that I was kind of looking at is I just think Mazraoui gets in. No Bruno, but we know you don't rate. We know you don't rate Bruno Fernandes.
Not going to get in front of them two, is he? Ahmad and Adingra. I mean, come on.
He's got into my team.
Yeah, but
Bruno got into my team. I think we've gone to your team.
Pardon?
He got into your team. What is
I'll bring my team up now. I still might make changes to it. I'm so indecisive. Honestly, it should be the whole Brighton team at this point. So my team is, let me get it up. I went with Verbruggen in goal over Onana. I think Verbruggen's a good keeper. I went with De Ligt, Maguire and Mazraoui as my three centre-backs. I felt like Mazraoui had to be in there, and I thought
you went with...
No, I changed it. I changed it to Mazraoui, yeah. So I changed it to Mazraoui. I do think Van Heck is a very good centre-back, and he was originally in it, but I just thought Mazraoui deserved to be in there for Manchester United, and I couldn't really fit him in at a wing-back spot, and I think his best position for Manchester United actually is a centre-back. I like Mazraoui as a centre-back, and I think he can play left or right side to cover in them full-back areas. I think he's quick, he's technically good, so he got in. I don't think Martinez has had the best season, to be honest with you, so he's not got in there. De Ligt, I think, has been really good. Maguire, we all know how good he's been for Manchester United when he's been fit. My four across the middle, I went with Ahmad right wing back, and I went with Matoma left wing back. I was gutted not to get Estupinian in, but he has been he does have injuries, and I just think I'm playing attacking wing backs. I'm going with Matoma for me over Estupinian, and I think Ahmad has to start on the right. My midfield two, I went with Baleba and Ugarte. Baleba's been fantastic. Ugarte's been arguably Manchester United's best signing. Then my 2 10s, I went with Bruno Fernandes and Adingra. He's on the bench for Brighton today, but I think he's a very good player. And then as my centre forward, I went with João Pedro. And Ricky was really annoyed at me for not going with what Danny Welbeck.
Yeah, and she said to me, Welbeck's usually on the bench. I said, no.
I did not say he's usually on the bench. Don't twist my words.
Sorry, you said he doesn't always start.
I said he doesn't always start for Brighton because he's injured a lot of the time.
When he's fit,
I didn't say he's on the bench. Them words never left my mouth. I said he doesn't always start because he doesn't. He's injured quite a lot.
All I said was when he's fit, he starts.
So therefore, I don't see him as much. For my taste, I would go for a João Pedro.
Yeah, I think I'll put João Pedro on my team as well.
But that was my team.
Good team.
It's not a bad team.
It's a good team.
Mordzs,
Yeah.
Your team, shall I read it out?
I think I've got the best team, I'll be honest. I didn't go for a 3 at the back though, I just went 4-3-3. I just thought that was the best way to get
You went
it.
4-3-3.
I think that's hopefully he put it as a 4-3-3 though. I don't know how
Here we go, yeah, he has.
Okay.
So you went with Onana in goal.
Yeah.
You went with Mazraoui right back.
Yeah.
De Ligt and Maguire as your centre backs, and then Estupinian as your left back.
Yeah.
You went with a midfield three of Ugarte, Bruno and Baleba.
Yeah.
You went with a front three of Ahmad, Matoma and João Pedro.
Yeah.
Good team.
It's not a bad side at all.
Yeah.
Good team.
To be fair, the formation wise is kind of what changes it a lot. Because if I picked a 3 at the back, it would have been a completely different team. To be fair, but I just thought on the left, who is our left-sided fullback? The best left-sided fullback, it's got to be Estupinian. 2 best centre backs basing it off the season, it's got to be Maguire and De Ligt, in my opinion. And then Mazraoui, he's been one of our best players this season. He had to play. If anyone in that team had to come in the team, I felt like Mazraoui had to come in that. And then who did I put in midfield? Ugarte, one of our best players this season. Baleba, maybe not generational talent, but serious talent.
He looks really good, doesn't he?
Was he 20 years old? He's going to get like a 70, 80 plus million pound move. I can imagine that happening. And then Bruno,
21.
21, yeah, super young, crazy talent. And then who else? Bruno. I mean, it's Bruno, isn't it?
He's just got to be in.
He's just got to be in my team somehow. I don't know what else to say about him. And then Ahmad obviously has to be in the team. Matoma, I think, Matoma on the left, and then João Pedro.
Interesting, none of us went for Martinez in there, but
nah.
Can only play 11. He's not been great this season. With me, I went for the formation of the back three.
Yeah.
I like the way you've done it because you got to get Estupinian in there, and I do rate him highly. But what team do you like? You've got different varieties, to be honest. I think the chat liked Ricky's the most. To be fair, it wasn't as crazy as I thought it was. No De Ligt in there really threw me, but. Yeah, get in the comments which one would you go for, and if you have any comments to say, let your feelings and opinions be known. Hit a like on the video as well, but a bit of fun for the build-up show, our combined 11s. And the fact it's a very big debate on a combined 11 with Brighton for Manchester United just shows where we're at. Brighton ahead of us in the Premier League, and they're a better side than us at this moment in time.
So which three players would you take then?
From Brighton?
Yeah, you have to pick 3.
Take the whole team. If I
take Mitoma for sure.
Yeah.
We are desperate for a striker. I'd probably take Danny Welbeck. No, the thing is, you've got to look to the future. I'd probably take one of the younger ones, but I would take one of the strikers.
Yeah.
I think Welbeck's the best, but obviously not going to get much time out of him, are you?
Yeah. Probably
Baleba then.
Yeah.
Maud, what would yours be?
Okay, I'll do. I'll say Baleba, just because he's just so good. And he can do like a mixture of what Mainu and Ugarte can do, but as one player. You know, the defensive side and just keeping the ball. His passing range is amazing. So I'll take Baleba. Probably a Estupinian just because we don't have a left-sided fullback, so he probably could play that left wing-back role. And then who did I say? Yeah, probably Matoma. Who were my players? I forgot already. Matoma, Baleba, and Estupinian. Yeah, they're the 3 players that I
take Matoma.
Yeah.
But I'd play him as a left wing back, so I wouldn't need Estupinian as much as I like him. But I'd take Matoma, I'd take Baleba, and I would take probably João Pedro. However, I do really like the player that I was talking about that got injured that time. And Ciso.
Yeah.
I really do like him. I like the look of him. It might be too early days. I'd like to play him as a 10 in that United side. But just based on availability right now, I'd probably go Matoma, Baleba and João Pedro. But and Ciso's one to watch for me. Yeah. He looked so good when he was fit. But get in the comments who you take. A lot of people in the comments saying I would take João Pedro. He would be a great 10 for us. I know João Pedro is quite highly rated by a lot of the United Stand community. When we've done polls on it in the past, a lot of people like the look of him. Let's see how he plays today. Hopefully, not very well against Manchester United, but I think it'll be a good game. Do you expect goals today, guys?
I can see them getting a goal or two. I'm wrong.
I feel like we will concede, yeah. Will we score? Depends on Ahmad. That's literally it.
Depends if Ahmad has a good game.
Oh, that's what we've turned into. I actually think, though, one thing, I tell you what I'm really excited for. I'm super excited to see how we play with Xerxes the 9 from the beginning of the game. Because I think today's game, it's a difficult one against Brighton, but we've seen Højlund now start up front for Manchester United for the last few games. Can Xerxes do it from starting, or is it just an impact sub? And I think today you'll get a really good indication of that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like Rick said before, the opposite could happen today. Like Xerxes could have an average game, and then Højlund could come and have a great substitute cameo. You know, and that could happen again next week, and then the week after. It's like, I mean, even looking at the way how Brighton play. I mean, everyone who's probably watched Brighton knows that they play a really high line. You know, and they also sit back a little bit, so they can be pressed. And if you want a player who's going to press a lot, you're not going to go for Xerxes, are you? You're going to go for Højlund. So it could work either way at the same time.
That's an interesting point.
And at the same time,
they're really good at playing out from the back.
Yeah.
You know, they take big risks.
Yeah.
But maybe, I never thought about this when Beth was asking us who would we play as a striker today. You know, maybe Højlund would be a better player to play against these because we're going to be without the ball more.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Slightly, yeah. They're going to want to keep possession a lot.
He's more energetic, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be without the ball and try to get it off them, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
having the other way around. So, but then it could also flip the other way around. Xerxes and dropping in deep. If we had quicker like 10s, he could really get into those channels. We do obviously have Ahmad, he can do that. Bruno isn't that kind of player, and our two fullbacks are not exactly the most attacking options. If we had more quicker 10s, we could expose their backline a little bit more when Xerxes is playing, because he would be the kind of player to do that. So that again, that could be an advantage for playing Xerxes over Højlund. I don't know, it could go either way.
Yeah, it could. I do think that's our best front three that we're playing today. Bruno, Ahmad and Xerxes. I think that is our best front three. I think on the ball, they're all pretty intelligent. I think Ahmad and Bruno work well together. I think Xerxes and Ahmad work well together. You're going to work well with better players. Ahmad is our best player best player currently in that front three and our most threatening player. I just think when you have more players on your wavelength, you're going to get better results, and they're all quite good in terms of being intelligent on the football. So I'm excited to see them function together from the start. Whether Xerxes can do it like that from the start, it's a different question of coming off the bench, but today's the day that he gets his opportunity. So let's see. Get in the comments, do you think he'll be able to do that? Another interesting call from Ruben Amorim, I think it's a very bold call, is sticking with Lenny Yoro. Like, I'm not going to lie, I had multiple opposition fans. I had Arsenal fans and Man City message me after the Southampton game saying we need a conversation about Yoro. Yoro was all I was hearing. I was calm about it. That winger for them was super pacey, and yeah, he did absolutely rinse Yoro for the whole game. De Ligt went over to that side, smashed into him, and you know, he showed his experience. But Yoro's going to learn. He's going to massively learn from that game. Amorim sticking with him today shows a lot of faith in his player. Could do his confidence a world of good if he has a good game today. But what do you make of that from Ruben Amorim sticking with Yoro? When, let's be honest, most people were like, Maguire needs to come in ahead of him. He still needs to learn. He still needs time. But he's actually taken Martinez out, put Maguire in, and kept Yoro there.
It's a risk, but also Martinez hasn't been playing that well, has he? He really hasn't.
No.
But the young kid, I think it's a bit of a risk, really, keeping the young lad in. I might have and I'm not a Martinez fan, I think you know that. I think I might have stuck with Martinez and gone with the more experienced players. I mean, they are going to have some pacey players. Yoro's got a bit more pace, but that didn't seem to come to, that didn't come to fruition the other night, did it? His pace against that winger, you know what I mean? He got beaten too easily by him a few times. I think I'd have gone with De Ligt, Maguire, and Martinez today.
Yeah, I don't actually mind Yoro come back in the team. I just feel like everyone has a bad game, like, and you know what I mean. And the thing is, I said it on the forum as well. It doesn't matter who was playing on that side; they would have all got ripped. None of them were quick enough to keep up with that winger. None of our centre backs. We did not have a centre back like Van der Ven who's going to keep up with a winger that quick. He was going to beat anyone. It just happened. Just so happened that Yoro was the one on that side, you know. And the lick smashing into him happened because he was ripping up Yoro time and time again. He wouldn't have smashed into him in the first 5 minutes of the game. Yeah. That happened because of what he was doing.
People don't realise. I often hear things like that. Like, you know, he was determined to. You can't be determined to go and do that. But the opportunity's got to arise.
Yeah, at the right time.
When De Ligt went into that tackle, it was the perfect moment. You know, trust me, it wasn't a foul. There was no foul given. So if he could have done that 4 times, he'd have done it 4 times. But he could only do it once. And the reason he could only do it once because at that moment it was there to be won, and he was steaming forward, and the ball was a little bit loose. So the opportunity was there. That was the only opportunity that he had to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, so you can't just say go out there and stick one on him. You know what I mean?
The referee could give you a yellow card straight away.
But on the odd occasion, it just works for you, and it just fell right for him to be able to do that.
I also think with Mazraoui coming back in at right wing back, it gives him that bit more defensive protection.
Yeah.
It does. It does, but they have got the job of getting forward, and the wing backs need whether they're full backs or not. So we could easily get caught out when we've got the full backs forward.
And someone in the chat mentioned, which I think is interesting, Yoro height offset pieces.
Yeah.
Where we keep having issues. He does have that height, and he's quite good aerially, I've noticed.
Yeah, we miss Maguire definitely for that. I think they scored off a corner. Yeah, Southampton did score off a corner. So, and we do need that set piece kind of coverage with Maguire in that midfield. So, not midfield in the defence. So,
who do you think will play to the left today? Yoro or I mean, Maguire will be the central one, surely.
Yeah.
I think De Ligt will be central. I think Maguire will play to the left.
Maguire on the left.
Yeah. He played for left for England, didn't he?
He has, he has.
He's not. I don't know if he has under Amorim yet. Or
I
maybe
think Maguire will be the central. My guess would be. I think Yoro might play to the left. I do. I know he's right-footed, but they're all right-footed, aren't they?
Yeah, true. Yeah. I feel like Maguire's he just plays the best as a central centre back. So you want to have him in his best position. And if anyone wasn't going to get ripped, it would be De Ligt and Yoro. If you were to say, which 2 players could get back the quickest or are the most mobile, it is going to be De Ligt and Yoro. So you're going to want to keep them as your 2, right and left centre backs.
Midfield would be very interesting. With again Bruno and Ahmad as the 2 10s. If they get caught forward again, and as I've just said it, against Newcastle, they got ripped, didn't they? Eriksen and Casemiro. Against Southampton, it was the 2 that played today.
Yeah.
And they're playing again today, and again, to me, there's just not really a proper not proper defensive minded, but just a more defensive minded number 10 who will definitely get back quicker, which was what happened. One of the you see, against Newcastle, everyone's talking about Mainu making the difference, and he did make a difference. But what actually happened was Mainu came on next to Casemiro, and Eriksen went in the 10 role. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Eriksen went in a 10 role. But when Eriksen's in a 10 role, he's still got his more defensive-minded midfield players' head on it. So when they've got the ball, we're more quickly into a 3 when Eriksen's playing as a 10, which is what happened. And people, you can laugh at me all you want. The main difference against Newcastle that changed the game for us, I know we never got back in the game, but the game changed. It was Eriksen being in the 10 more so than it was actually Mainu being in the midfield 2. If the midfield 2 still would have been a 2, like it was Ugarte and Mainu against Southampton, when I say not good enough, just not enough players there.
Yeah.
Against Newcastle, there's enough players there in the last hour because Eriksen gets back more quickly.
Yeah,
that sounds daft, doesn't it? That's not saying he's rapid. It's about him being switched on and understanding the flow of the game. When they win the ball, immediately start. You can't. you can't walk your first 3 steps. You've got to be on the move all the time, and Eriksen's like that.
Yeah, maybe Ahmad, I feel like Ahmad compared to Garnacho is a little bit more, it's weird to say this, but a little bit more defensively minded. I feel like because he has played that wing back position, he understands it probably a little bit more than maybe Garnacho would have. And that last game, not to blame Garnacho or anything, but he's a more attacking player. He's likely going to be.
Obviously, Garnacho was one of the 10s against Southampton, and Xerxes was a 10, wasn't he, against Newcastle to start with.
Yeah. So that's 2 attacking players.
So that didn't help.
So could be a bit different today.
I mean, 64% of the chat said they wanted Collier to start. He doesn't, but I'm assuming he'll come off the bench to make an impact at some point in the game. You have Daniel Winstanley saying Yoro will never learn if he doesn't play. Ian Hanley says Yoro will be fine with Mazraoui in front of him. Vinny Red One says, why is it hard to understand that Yoro was left isolated versus a winger when he's used to playing in a back 2? Not his fault. Also hope Bruno playing in the 8. Well, Bruno could be playing in the 8 with Mainoo pushing onto the 10.
Maybe.
Could be the case. Doubt it, but he could. Ricky Moreno says, Ahmad needs to wear the 10. Danny Welbeck always plays against us with a vengeance. I think he's still mad at us for selling him. It's mad to think that we sold him years ago.
To Arsenal.
He's still getting to our team.
That's crazy.
The Sheikh of England says, we forget Ahmad had a loan away to develop. Garner, Kobe, Rasmus, Xerxes, Et have all been thrown in to the cauldron as they are established players, not. Sean Soka says Ricky would have been a class Portsmouth manager in 2008. And Joy Wrighton says, I can't call it today, Beth. Adios, Anthony. Jamie Wilson with a super chat, thank you very much. Mantej Singh says, we put a lot of pressure on young players. Should get some experienced players. Wouldn't mind Olmo. I've done that one. Thank you everyone for your comments. And Pranjal says Ricky should charge for that analysis. It's gold. Should see his fees. Should see his invoices. Don't come cheap. Abdi says, hey y'all, considering those last games, what's your thoughts on Bruno? Fits in Amorim's style or needs to improve? I'll come back to that in a second. And Stephen Willock says Ricky has Matic, Eriksen and McTominay tattoos. I mean, McTominay's doing fantastic at Napoli, by the way.
Oh, I'll tell the viewers what happened in the pub last night. I watched the Napoli game in the pub last night, and there was 2 Brighton fans in there who were staying in an hotel nearby, and I showed them my combined team. I'm telling them this for you.
Yep.
And the first thing they said to me was, what, no Bruno Fernandes? That's 2 Brighton fans. I was gobsmacked.
Exactly.
I have to explain to them the truth.
They know what they're talking about. They know what they're talking about. I mean, Ricky, let's come back to a little chat we had on the Countdown to Kickoff show probably a couple months ago now. And you said if Bruno was still starting for Ruben Amorim...
End of January, I said.
By the end of January, you'd stop coming.
Yeah.
What is your stance now on that statement?
I'm playing his another 3 weeks. They drops him.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen,
is it?
There's like 10 more days left.
You even said he's improved massively.
No, he has improved. Yeah. Maybe I can use.
Are you going to stop coming?
I can use that as an excuse. He's playing better. He's playing differently now, so it's okay.
Bruno was always going to carry on starting. Let's be honest.
He can't go on forever. It won't go on forever.
I mean, like for at least
one day he will get dropped.
Yeah, I don't know. For the near future, I can see him always starting.
The one thing that's mad is that everything Ricky says, does end up happening. The one thing I firmly disagree with him on is Bruno. But everything he's said in the past that people have laughed at has come true.
Yeah, nearly everything.
Basically everything.
Yeah.
Even when people are like, oh, what are you talking about, Elanga, Ricky? Look at him now. Everything that he says, near enough ends up happening. Yeah. Rashford, everyone was going in on you for the Rashford stuff when you said you didn't rate him. Now look at it. So I'm just hoping Bruno's the one thing you've been wrong on.
Eventually you will be right, though.
Pardon?
Eventually you will be right.
What? But yeah, well, that's he's still going to be playing for United at 35, Mark, what you're on about.
Right on the Bruno thing is if he leaves and when I say immediately, people... It annoys me when he misses one game and people go, look us without, you know what I mean? This one game's ridiculous. There's no chance whatsoever of seeing any difference in one game. But when he does stop playing, I will bet my bottom dollar within 10 games we will be a better team and better more consistently. So, but that'll be a long time coming. Whenever it happens, whether it happens this year, next year, whether it happens when he's 35, like we just spoke about, I believe we'll be a better team when he stops playing. on a regular basis.
I've seen online a lot of people are paying their respects at the Trinity statue for Denis Law, so just wanted to obviously give a quick moment on that. Obviously, our greatest respects to his family.
I saw Denis Law play.
Yeah, Ricky is best to speak on this.
I only caught the very end of his. Obviously, I was very young, and I only caught the very end of his career. I wasn't even. I was 9 when United won the European Cup, and he was injured and he didn't play in the final. And I wasn't really interested in football at that stage. It took a year or so after that. So he'd had a really serious injury and was never quite the same player. He was still a top player when I saw him, but I saw him play with Best and Charlton, and I saw some absolutely fantastic performances. And two that come to mind: Huddersfield Town were in the top league at the time. I was at the game when United beat them 3-0 away. And the scorers were Charlton, Best and Law. And it was the last time all three of them played in the same game. But an even better one for me, I was at Anfield and we were 2-0 down at half-time. And you can see these goals on YouTube, what players they were. I know it's about Denis Law today, but it was that, the 3 players, the Trinity statue, it's down there to see. But if you go on YouTube, you can find this. Liverpool 2, Man United 2. And it was 2-0 for Liverpool at half-time. And in the second half, Charlton scored a goal, Denis Law scored a goal, and George Best got the 2 assists. And it's well worth a watch. And, there were 3 fantastic players. And it's lots of United fans of my age and older like to try and choose which was the best, but it's a bit churlish for me. They were all absolutely fantastic. I wish we had a Denis Law today, put it that way.
Yeah.
Sir Alex Ferguson is named in the best Scottish player of all time. Just before kick-off. So RIP to Denis Law and sending love to his family and greatest respects. And it's nice to see every United fan, young or old, going paying respects over there. Obviously, me and Mordzs we've never watched him we've never got to see him play, but we know about the history behind it, and you've got to go and give your respect. So yeah, sending our greatest respects over to him and his family. Got a couple more super chats in. We have Ali Jaber saying, please don't leave us, Ricky, you're the GOAT. He won't be going anywhere, don't you worry. Shine says Ricky needs to be knighted gold every week. And we'll do our own United stand knighting. Anders Stanson says 5 on that bench, probably leaving. They need to be replaced. And yeah, they're all the super chats that we have in for now. Let's do players to watch for Manchester United. Mordzs, your player to watch was Joshua Zirkzee. I know that we've spoken about him a bit, but I've just seen somebody say, like, it feels like with Manchester United, it's striker isn't great from the start. The other striker comes on as a good cameo, rinse and repeat, and it keeps alternating. Yeah. Hopefully Zirkzee can stop that trend today, but what are you going to particularly watching out for from him?
I mean, like I said earlier on in the show, the cameos that he has had have been great, better than what Højlund has done from the start. If he can somehow replicate that for the majority of the game, because Højlund is going to come on in like the 60th minute. That's just fact. It's going to happen. We see it every game. Unless
Zirkzee's having a worldie.
Yeah, unless he's having like.
Hoping for, isn't
it? I'm hoping he has an insane game, but Højlund will eventually come on the pitch. But I just want Zirkzee to have that. I remember the Crystal Palace game earlier this season. We spoke about it before, but he had like a great 45 minutes. And I think he got taken off after about 45 minutes or something. Something happened. It was Ten Hag, I remember. He took him off at some point. And that was the last time I remember seeing Zirkzee start a game and have a great game from the beginning of the match. So it is possible. We've seen him do it. It's just we haven't seen him replicate it on a consistent basis. Now that he's had 3 games, come off the bench and having good performances, hopefully this is the time that he kicks on, and from the beginning of the game, we can see this Zirkzee that we hope, he can actually hit the levels that he can hit.
Lenny Yoro for me. Got to see how he does today against players who they might not be quite as quick as that Southampton player the other night, but they have got rapid players and really good players. I think I think you might see Danny Welbeck trying the experience that he's got, how smart he is, Danny Welbeck. I think you might see Danny Welbeck trying to operate in his area of the pitch today, and if he does, he'll be right up against it, Yoro, and I'd love to see how he does against him.
You think about it, you've got 18-year-old Lenny Yoro going up against, I wonder how old Danny Welbeck is now.
36, something like that.
34, I'd guess.
Let me have a look.
Danny Welbeck went to my school.
34.
Is he 34?
Ricky knows him inside out. Yeah, 34 years old. He feels like he should be older. I don't know why. So yeah, Danny Welbeck, obviously very experienced Premier League striker. So it is going to be a tough ask, but he does have Maguire and De Ligt there with that experience to help alongside him.
Yeah.
But I think Lenny Yoro is a good one to go for.
He does love a goal at Old Trafford, though.
Pardon?
He does love a goal at Old Trafford.
Danny.
Yeah,
He does.
He does.
My player to watch today, I think, it's hard. I was going to go Xerxes, but you've swiped him from me.
Damn.
My player to watch is going to be Ahmad. Reason being is because I thought he was fantastic, especially in the second half against Southampton. I don't think anyone was really that great in the first half. But Ahmad obviously won us the game. Wing back, he's done really well at. He's done well at 10 as well, don't get me wrong. But he does keep switching position from wing back to 10. Let's see what he can do in the 10 role today. I think he could be really instrumental in Joshua Xerxes having a good game as well. I think their link-up play, seen glimpses of it so far. So I'm going to be watching Ahmad. Can you get 2 back-to-back Premier League hat-tricks?
Imagine.
One from a wing back, one from a 10. Could you imagine?
I was going to say another player, Dalot, because he had a great game against Liverpool, then got a red card. So it's like, what Dalot are we going to see today? Are we going to see an erratic Dalot like we saw the last game? Which, I mean, you can't even really.
There's an interesting point, by the way, against Arsenal. I've just thought of this because you said Dalot got a red card.
Yeah.
He played on the right, didn't he? He started on the right, and Mazraoui was on the left. He was playing right wing back, Dalot, against Arsenal.
I think so, yeah.
He was definitely. Yeah. He was playing right wing.
Was.
He always plays on the left, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I'm often saying, like, he needs to play on the right. He played him on the right. He gets a red card straight away. So, but what will it be today? I fancy he might play on the right.
Yeah.
And that'll be an interesting thing. It's even more interesting when you think that the manager might think, who does he want to put up against Mitoma? So that might be Mazraoui. For me,
Mazraoui,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Dalot is a really good player, but they've got different strengths.
Yeah.
And I would fancy Mazraoui really against Mitoma.
Yeah, and to be fair, the Arsenal game, I don't necessarily feel like he had a bad game before he came off.
No.
It was just those yellow cards, which were just two dumb yellow. He didn't need to go in for that challenge where he got the second yellow.
Yeah, correct.
He probably could have ended up having a good game that game, so hopefully he can go back to the form that he had the past 2 games, other than the red card, obviously, and play well.
In our United Stand group chat, Ricky, loads of people put in, what's this with Ricky leaving? Everyone's worried. It's not going anywhere. It's a joke, everyone. Calm down, guys. Do not worry about it. Yeah. Also, tune into the shows. Watch the shows, and then you'd know. We've got super chats in from PT5 saying, quite simply, you 3 are different class. I could listen all day.
That's nice.
Oh, that's
Cheers.
very lovely. That's very nice. Put me in a good
energy.
mood before going over to the Old Trafford to God knows what we're going to get, to be honest with you. James Young says, can Ricky give a few words on Dennis Law and the United Trinity? You just spoke about that, didn't you?
I just have done, yeah.
So if you wanted to rewind a little bit in the show, Ricky has spoken about that.
He was an absolutely fantastic player, Dennis Law, make no mistake about it, and he would be a fantastic. I don't care people talking about how the game's changed. Those players had changed. Dennis Law, if he was playing today, he'd be worth £150 million.
Fair enough. Isn't he like top 3 United all-time like scorer or something like
that?
He's third.
Rooney and Charlton are above him.
Fantastic.
So that should show you how many goals he has.
He's also scored 46 competitive goals, i.e. in all competitions for United in one season, which is a record. Ronaldo or Rooney or anybody like that hasn't done that.
Yeah.
Baited Acrobat says, it's incredible how bad the Glazers have ran United compared to the Buccaneers. Bucks have been consistently good, including winning the league. I mean, all I'm going to say is, if I owned an NFL team and I owned a football, if I owned Manchester United, if me, myself, from Manchester, born and raised in England, the UK, owned Manchester United and I also owned Tampa Buccaneers, no offence Tampa Buccaneers, but my main priority would be Manchester United, because that's the way I've been raised and that's the sport I love. They're American, that are probably way more into the NFL than what they are English football. It's not right, it frustrates the hell out of me, but that's unfortunately the way it is. Yeah. I know it's not all completely like, I know there's quite a few Tampa Buccaneers fans that aren't happy with their ownership either. I mean, I'd want both to do well, but it's just, you're always going to be more interested in the sport that you love.
Yeah, isn't like the Arsenal owner, doesn't he own...
Kroenke.
Yeah, doesn't he own an NFL team as well?
Yeah, I think he...
The Rams?
Yeah, and he was the big investors behind the SoFi Stadium, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because they won I don't know actually, I don't know nothing about NFL. But it just happens, it happens a lot.
If I owned a team in Florida, I'd go and live in Florida and watch United on the telly.
I love Florida.
That's what Glazers do.
I love Florida. Rudolph the Red says, worried about this game. I hope we turn up. I mean, it's one of them. You can say this for every game, to do a little Michael Owen quote, but you either win or you lose, you know what I mean? Like, or you draw. Yeah. But I think I've seen a lot of people saying they either think Brighton are going to come in, dominate us, and we're going to beat like 2 or 3-0, or Man United actually might pull off something pretty nice today. I mean, we've got the predictions on screen. Matt currently leading our prediction tally. He's gone with a 2-2 draw, and he's on 23 points in terms of the United stand predictions. In bottom spot is Sam, who's gone with a 2-1 loss. He's on 13 points. Mordzs, you've gone with a 2-1 win. Ricky, you've gone with a 1-1 draw. I've gone with a 3-1 win. I'm the only one who's gone with a 3-1 win out of everyone. Don't think anyone... Oh, no, Kev's gone with that as well. Kev's copied me. I'm joking. Don't know how I think United are going to score 3 goals, but that's where we're at. Somehow back in the team, back in Ruben Amorim, despite the cover-up job we did against Southampton with Ahmad absolutely getting us out of jail with there. But Brighton will have chances. They have got very good players. I mean, just everywhere you look. From the width, you have Matoma and Minter, you have João Pedro and Welbeck in the middle causing problems. It's going to be a tough game today, isn't it?
Very, very tough game.
Yeah, 100%.
Looking at Rudolph the Red has said it is gifted 1 United stand membership. Thank you very much. Got some predictions going in the chat. I think a lot of people are pretty confident as us winning the game, which is weird because if we would have lost against Southampton, which rightfully probably we should have, a lot of people are like, there's no way today. So it just shows you what...
Where are we in the table?
If we win today, I think we go up into 12th or 11th. We have the opportunity, which is... Gosh. Yeah, I know, it's...
We can overtake Brentford today, can't we?
It's bad news, isn't it? So we're 13th currently on 26 points. If we win this game, we could go into 11th, just behind Brighton. We could overtake Brentford, yeah. That's where we're at. But anyway, guys, hit a like on the video. We've got to head over to Old Trafford to go and watch Manchester United and Ruben Amorim hopefully get a win against Brighton, who have caused us trouble in these past years. Comment down below your thoughts. Hit a like on the video before we leave. And what shall we infiltrate the Goldbridge chat with today?
Rest in peace, Dennis the King.
R.I.P. Dennis the King. There you go. That's what you should go and comment on Matt's video. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back, hopefully, with the fans forum, not the therapy forum, with Kev after the game. See you later, everyone.